New York City. Temperature 49 degrees. The wind will be blowing against the Dolphins, gusting to 16 miles per hour. And you see that as Leahy bangs it deep into the end zone. Dorial Harris will stay there. Pat Leahy hangs it high. The wind took it deep into the end zone. And the Miami Dolphins will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. David Whitley, we've already told you a little bit about it, quarterback, number 16. The two setbacks are Del Williams and Terry Robisky, who came in a couple of weeks ago and really gave life to the Miami Dolphins offense last week. 88 yards he had against Buffalo, and at the time Buffalo was number 1 in the NFL against the rush. Terry Robisky, formerly with the Oakland Raiders, also out of LSU. Set to go, the Dolphins. 4-3 against the 1-6 Jets. And immediately Whitley to the air, going out with the screen. This is Robisky. And Robisky cuts behind the screen and gets out over the 25, close to the 28-yard line, an 8-yard pickup. And let's meet the defensive unit. There they are. They'll stay pretty much in that 4-man line. The best pass rusher there, of course, Joe Klecko from the right side, number 73. Stan Blinken, the middle linebacker. In his second year, he's learning. And let's meet the secondary. Perhaps the best defender, Bobby Jackson, out of the left corner, number 40. He'll have his hand full tonight with the likes of Nat Moore, number 89, and Dorial Harris. Moore coming to the bottom of your screen. Dorial Harris out to the right. Second down, a little more than 1 to go. The ball just about the 29-yard line. This is Del Williams, and Del Williams over the 30 gets the first down out to the 32-yard line.
If I know Schuler what his thinking is tonight. He does not want to put a lot of pressure on his young quarterback Whitley. You'll see him throwing screens like he did on the first play. He'll throw short passes to his backs, and they hope to get a good, strong running game going. And so far they've done that. The wind is against them in this particular drive, and the wind is definitely a factor tonight.
Whitley, an 8th-round draft pick, the 214th player taken in the draft. A surprise. He was an alternating quarterback at LSU as a senior. He's not alternating anymore. He's making his second consecutive start here tonight. Led the Dolphins against Buffalo, and you can see there is confusion in the mind of this 22-year-old youngster at this moment. It could be or could not be his fault, but he'll walk over and talk it over with the master, Don Shula.
Hardly a time to waste a timeout, but it's the very inexperience that Frank has talked about. You'll see a lot of Terry Robisky tonight. We'll tell you more about him in a moment, and we'll be back in just a moment. But what a great man, Frank, through all of the 70s. A precision surgeon out there, and the graphic you saw with the stats told you the story.
Dolphins 1st and 10, their own 32-yard line. Del Williams moves over the right side behind Ed Newman, and Eric Laxo gets a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
It's interesting. The Dolphins here are going to 2 tight ends. It's interesting in Houston, Texas. They made a big trade a week or so ago to get Dave Casper, and they're going with 2 tight ends down there. Many teams are starting to do that. It really helps the running game a tremendous amount. You've got 2 big blockers in there.
And often they'll even go with 3 of them. They have Joe Rose. The Dolphins and Don Shula have always been strong with their tight ends. 2nd down and 8. Dorial Harris split to the right. And Whitley on a rollout. And he can run if he has to. A good running quarterback. The attempt to Nat Moore, had it been on target, it would have been picked off because Darrell Ray, the Jets' 2nd-round pick, was right there defensively for the Jets.
Good move by Whitley. Good move by Shula, putting this kind of play in for him. It's hard to read as a rookie quarterback. He gets outside of the pass rush, has a little more time to throw it. He does throw well on the run. He had the ball on target, but the defensive back, Ray, made a good play.
Well, Darrell Ray is one of the bright spots in this disappointing Jets year, out of Oklahoma. 2nd-round draft choice and a fine, fine player.
3rd down 7. David Whitley will be throwing against a stiff breeze. If indeed Don Shula has indicated he wants him to throw, and he has. Fires and is complete. He goes to the tight end, Joe Rose. That's the rookie from the University of California. And Joe Rose, close to the first down for the Dolphins. I believe he has it.
I do too, Jeff. I think he's got it. And here again, very controlled passing. Very good, smart football. Going against the wind, you don't want to throw the ball long. The young quarterback, you want to keep him in control, and so far he has been.
Mentioned that David Whitley will run the football. The Dolphins have built into their offense, because of Whitley, rollout options and also just a straight rollout. He gained 833 yards while he was playing at LSU. 1st down 10, 43-yard line of the Dolphins, and here comes Del Williams. Del Williams almost pops it, gets out to midfield, and he breaks loose from the tackle and gets inside the 40-yard line of the Jets down close to the 37. Darrell Ray and Ron Crosby made the stop defensively for the Jets.
Jeff, that was an interesting move. Usually defenses shift, but they shifted the tight end over to the right here. They had two tight ends on the right side. One is a tight wing back. Caught the Jets by surprise. Good blocking up front. There's Kuchenberg getting the block, and then he just breaks the tackle.
Bad tackle. Failure in fundamentals, but you all know about Del Williams. He comes as advertised. He's a veteran. He has been, and particularly was with the 49ers, one of the better running backs in the league.
They mark it at the 38-yard line. Del Williams again over the right side, and Del Williams finding an opening, gets down to the 31-yard line, a pickup of about 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. Stan Blinka, the middle linebacker, 54 on the stop.
The interesting thing here, Frank, is they are shredding the defensive line of the Jets. Now, the Miami offensive line, which was the absolute mainstay, as you look at Williams' stats already for the night, of the great Miami teams of the decade of the 70s, is but a shell of what it was. There is Kuchenberg still there and little else.
Interesting. After 7 games, Miami was 14th in their 14-team conference offensively. The Jets were 11th versus the rush. Here comes Del Williams. Piled out. Deep penetration quickly there by Gastineau, and then Greg Buttle was there for the stop. And there is a loss all the way back to the 36-yard line, a loss of 5 yards.
Gastineau is an animal. If he ever lives up to that body, which is now around 280, with his size, with his speed, with his ability to pass rush, he will become a star. He has improved mightily this year against the run. That play and evidence. But he is not yet there.
Gastineau, also a youngster in his 2nd year for the Jets. 3rd down and 9, and Whitley will put it in the air. Underneath to Nat Moore. Nat Moore will be short of the 1st down at the 28-yard line. Short by perhaps, well, half a yard.
Be interesting to see what Shula will do here, Giff, whether he'll go for it or whether he'll kick the field goal. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for it here.
David Whitley wants to see how close.
This is good. Get the measure, get the sticks out there. It gives you time to think. You can always call for the measurement.
Do they always give it to you when you call for it, though?
They really do. I know a lot of the referees sometimes did not want to give it to me, but I insisted, and they will finally succumb and let you have it. And you really ought to give. Evidently, Woodley didn't ask loud enough.
And Don Shula will go for it on 4th down at about a yard. One of the reasons is that he has got his offensive line together for the first time since training camp. John Giesler over the left side, left tackle number 79, was hurt late in August, and he is making his first start. Or has made his first start last week, but he's now 100%. 4th down in the yard, and the Jets fans rise to their feet.
Somebody's offside.
You saw the flags as Robisky gets the yardage for the 1st down, but it looked as if the Jets perhaps will be offside.
I think so. I think it's the Jets. Let's see.
We'll find out. Yep. So another key mistake, and the Jets have been making this kind of mistake all year. There's Walt Michaels. And you mentioned Robisky as the ball carrier then, Frank. Remember 3 years ago when Al Davis came to us and said, I've got a 10 strike, a great find? Billy Cannon, the old Heisman Trophy winner, here's the official.
Defense, 5 yards, 1st down.
Billy Cannon, who once played for Davis, had called him and said, draft this kid from LSU, and he got him as a lower-round draft choice. He's a fine football player. The acquisition of Kenny King made him expendable for the Raiders.
1st down and 10. Ball at the 29-yard line of the Jets. Whitley coming back with the screen he used to open the ball game. Robisky. And that's an error on a screen to cut back away from your blockers because you're cutting right back into the pursuit. And there's a loss. Loss moving out to about the 28-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 2nd down and 14, rather.
Glad I gave him the build-up on that play, and then you said he made a mistake. But let me tell you, Abdul Salam, who made the tackle, number 74, read it, played it very, very well, and made a sure tackle one-on-one.
2nd down, 14. Whitley to the air. Showing a lot of poise. Fires over the middle, intended there for Nat Moore. He was belted by middle linebacker Stan Blinka. It'll be 3rd down and 14, and Miami has now used almost 7 minutes of the first quarter.
All right, here we go from the end zone. Woodley's getting back in. There's good pattern on. He's going to have the Moore cutting in from the left. He gets kissed as he's throwing the ball, and he threw it out a little too far in front of Moore. It's a good controlled pass. He just overthrew it a little bit. Now he's got himself in a pretty pressured situation. 3rd and 14. I would think he'd throw something in the 8 to 10 yard range, and if he can run for the first down, fine. If not, they kick a field goal.
David Whitley, 28 of 62 attempts this year, 45% average. 3rd down, 14. Tough situation against the wind. Fires and is taken by Joe Rose.
We got a flag,
Flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
I think there was a holding penalty against Miami, which will kill off a fine play.
It was a fine play. Good throw by Woodley.
Referee tonight, Jim Tunney, one of the NFL's finest, and that was a fine toss by Whitley. Again, we keep talking about the wind, but it does gust up to around 15, 16 miles per hour. Not easy to throw against.
It really isn't, Giff, and yet he threw that ball in there. Good tight spiral, had a lot on it.
Holding, 79. Still 3rd down.
John Geisler, we spoke of him a moment ago, a #1 draft pick of a year ago who has been out. Came back last week. He's been out with the shoulder since mid-August.
Well, that had a twofold effect. A, costing them a touchdown. B, taking them out of field goal range.
And his main goal here is they got to get some of it back to get in field goal range.
Ball now at the 38-yard line of the Jets. 3rd down, 24. Whitley
Going for it all.
going for a Cephalo. And is taken there by Ken Troy. Ken Troy comes up with the interception for the Jets. He was right there with Cephalo.
Yep. Here he is. He's trying to bite off too much here. I'd like to see him go for a shorter pass, but he decided to go up top. He went up top to get it all. And the defensive back was there, made the interception. I think they're going to place the ball on the 2-yard line, and he went back to the end zone thinking that he could get a safety out of it and get back to the 20-yard line. But it's going to be placed on the 2-yard line. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Under fire this year, as quite naturally a quarterback would be on a team with a 1-6 record. He's passing at a 56.7 average. He has 8 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That is good enough for a 13th rating in the 14-team American Football Conference. From the 1-yard line, Kevin Long, single setback, gets a call on the left side and gets out for about a yard and a half. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Let's take a look at the offense that we anticipate from the Jets. Todd, of course, a quarterback. Scott Durkin, Kevin Long, the setbacks. Derek Gaffney is starting in place of Johnny Lamb Jones. We expect to see Johnny Lamb Jones. As a matter of fact, he has just come into the lineup. Bobby Jones is over in the left side, 3rd-year veteran. The tight end is Mickey Schuler, and we will see often a 2 tight end offense for the Jets. They'll bring in number 83, Jerome Barkham. 2nd down and 8. And we now have the 2 tight ends. Jerome Barkham also coming in. Todd, inside handoff. Kevin Long finds a big opening, gets out for a 1st down, close to the 14-yard line.
Right there, Frank, if I may say, you saw the basic strength of the Jets. One of the reasons they were highly regarded at the start of the year. Now watch this, Fran. That offensive line, you see the hole lay open, a big hole for Kevin Long. The Jets do not have a speed back, a basic weakness. So they must rely on Kevin Long and Scott Durkin, especially with Clark Gaines out with a broken leg.
All right, they mark it at the 14-yard line. Kevin Long getting the 1st down. Motion, Derek Gaffney, number 81. Inside handoff. Scott Durkin, another big opening. Again, running behind Randy Rasmussen over on the left side, and their center, Joe Fields, and getting up for the 1st down is Scott Durkin out over the 25-yard line.
They're working here on this inside on the nose man. And big hole. Durkin comes and runs hard. He's not a speed back, as Howard mentioned. Neither is Kevin Long, but he is a tough hombre. 2 key plays by Randy Rasmussen, the only Jet that is a link to the Super Bowl of 1969, the victory over Baltimore. 1st and 10. Inside handoff. Kevin Long piled up in the middle as they
go again up the middle, and this time Miami stiffens. Gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Let's take a look at the defensive 3-4 that we'll be watching tonight. Doug Better's a fine pass rusher. Brandon Herter, steady. A.J. Dewey, if you have not seen the Dolphins this year, you might be surprised. He was a defensive end in the past. He is now an inside linebacker, but he will often play like a defensive end. There is your secondary. Out on the left corner, Don McNeil, a rookie from Alabama, a #1 draft pick for the Dolphins, expected to become a great one. Single setback. Now we have Bruce Harper, 42, and Kevin Long, 33, but Harper in motion. 2nd down, 6. Lots of time, and Richard Todd finds Kevin Long out of the backfield. Another Jet first down. Out to the 38-yard line, hit there by Rusty Chambers, number 51.
The problem when you don't have a speed back is that you will pick up 6 and 8 yards because the man will not explode quickly through the hole. Where a speed back could get you 12 or 14, the Durkings and Longs, without being needlessly critical. Well, so you have to be perfect all the way downfield and never make a mistake. That's very hard even for a pro football team to do.
Jets 3 consecutive first downs coming out from their 1-yard line. Comes the blitz by Beaucamper, and Richard Todd unloads a Beaucamper who plays like a defensive end from his left linebacker position, and he can really put a hurt on you.
Beaucamper is one of those. What a beautiful helicopter shot of Shea Stadium in New York City. Flushing technically, but New York City. A great skyline, not presently visible, but it is magnificent. Beaucamper, by the way, Frank, a throwback to the great teams of the 70s.
2nd down, 10. Jets out of the eye. Hand off. Bruce Harper, and Harper is taken there by number 77, A.J. Dewey, as he moves out over the 40 for a gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
A.J. Dewey, who has been a fine defensive end for the Dolphins, is now a linebacker. But really, in the Dolphins scheme of things, they got 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, but 3 of those linebackers, you talked about Beaucamper, Larry Gordon and Dewey, are big enough and could play defensive end. So you've really got 6 defensive linemen in the game.
Beaucamper, of course, is cut physically in the mold of Ted Hendricks. Big number 83.
Ram Jones comes in, the #1 much heralded draft pick. He's in the slot, bottom of your screen. 3rd down and 8 for Richard Todd. Jones playing with a cracked rib. Todd gets out of trouble. He can run for the first, and he does, out to midfield. Richard Todd taken there by Don Veselu, but not until he picks up the 4th consecutive first down, as now the Jets begin to work on the clock. We have 3:45 remaining in the first quarter. Let's watch the scramble again.
Well, here's the strength of Todd. Todd has got great athletic ability. He can run. And here he's getting a rush. He's getting a lot of pressure. He's got the ability to run for the first down, and he's going to lower his head and get the first down. Sometime later, he's going to have to learn to slide for it.
Frank, there was a great block in there by Marvin Powell, a brilliant offensive tackle on Kim Beaucamper that made that play possible.
1st and 10. Ball just short of Miami's 49-yard line. Single setback. He gets the call as Kevin Long. And Long gets to the 44-yard line, moving over the left side. Again behind Randy Rasmussen. You spoke of Marvin Powell. On the left side is Chris Ward, who had many troubles. Number 72, Chris Ward, at the beginning of the year. He was caught holding the first 8 times the first 5 games. He settled down and played a good game last week. Those tackles are really to a pair.
Oh, Chris Ward has graded out magnificently the last 2 weeks. When Ward plays his game, the great one from Ohio State, and Powell from USC, they're as good a pair of offensive tackles, good a tandem as there is in the league. And that's true despite their record.
2nd down and 5 at Miami's 44-yard line. Kevin Long tries to turn the corner, snared there by Larry Gordon, number 50. And Larry Gordon is probably as much responsible for A.J. Dewey going to linebacker as anyone on the coaching staff, because he was a little late coming to camp this year, and Don Shula put A.J. Dewey from defensive end out to outside linebacker. He looked good out there. He's still learning, but when Gordon came into camp, they moved A.J. Dewey to the inside.
But also number 75 out there, Doug Betters, developed into an excellent defensive end, so they could put him at linebacker.
3rd down 3. All right at Miami's 42-yard line, or 42. And getting the call is Durking, and Durking finds another opening, and Durking inside the 35 to the 34, the 5th first down for the Jets as they have started moving from their 1-yard line.
Well, the Jet offensive line is just taking control of the Miami defensive line. You'll see here them coming off the ball. They're just pushing them back, and they're doing it in the middle of the line. They're not doing it now where their strength is the tackles. It's right up the middle. The center and the 2 guards, Fields, Alexander, and Rasmussen, are really doing the job.
Well, Fields is a first-rate center, and Alexander, also from LSU, a first-rate guard.
The motion man is Gaffney on first down. Scott Durkin gets called to the right side and gets to the 30-yard line, and he gets another 4 yards out of it. Hit there by Rusty Chambers. It'll be second down and 6. And one thing about these Jet backs, they do not have the great speed, as Howard spoke of a moment ago, but they never seem to fumble the ball. And I probably shouldn't say that.
No, you should.
They have not lost a fumble on a run this year. Now, that's incredible. But in 492 attempts by them, they've only lost 2.
Well, the one who
They hold on to it.
The one who was great in that regard, Frank, quickly before the play, was Clark Gaines, who's now in the hospital.
Second down, 6. Inside handoff. And heading down to the 27-yard line is Bruce Harper. Bruce Harper, 5'8", 177-pounder, and plays like a much bigger man. Be very close to another first down. Few empty seats here on a very chilly night. A stadium sold out, the blackout lifted in the New York area, but there are some scattering of empty seats that we can see around the stadium. Inches short, as Jim Tunney indicates, and Walt Michaels.
Now, here's an interesting situation for them here, Giff. You know, they've got about an inch or 2 to go for a first down. They could go for a touchdown. They could fake the run into the line, have a free throw, and come back on 4th down and most likely make the first down. It would be a good gutsy call. Let's see if they do it.
It's an old-time Bart Starr call, but I don't think they'll do it.
Well, a few others did it besides Bart.
Of course, Tarkenton.
We saw how much. Third down, Richard Todd gets the first on the quarterback sneak. Now close to the 23-yard line, and that will expire the time here in the first quarter. And the Jets have their 6th consecutive timeout. Remember, they began at their 1-yard line. They're playing the game like they did a year ago when they led the NFL in rushing. We'll be back in a moment. A critical game for the Dolphins. If they can win tonight, they will move to within 1 game of Buffalo and New England. They are tied at 6-2 with 6-2 records in the AFC East. And of course, for the Jets, they're struggling for respectability. They're 1-6 on the season. But they have moved from their 1 with 6 consecutive first downs. The ball at the 23-yard line, 1st and 10 once again. Todd on the rollout. Goes back across the grain to Scott Durkin. And Durkin inside the 5, down to the 2. A.J. Dewey in pursuit made the stop. But the Jets, who established the run, came with Richard Todd rolling out. He found Scott Durkin, and it'll be 1st and goal.
Well, here it comes from the end zone. He's faking the rollout to the left. It's well executed by Todd. He rolls out far to the left, knowing all the time he's going to throw back to Durkin. He gets the defense to bite in, throws it back to Durkin to get the ball down inside the 5, about the 1 1/4.
Up to this point, this is by far the best performance by the Jets this year. They're playing up to what had been expected of up to this point.
1st and goal. Durkin piled up as they tried to move behind big Marvin Powell over the right side. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Yep, I want to tell you, as you look over, as I played over the years, the Dolphins are as tough a goal line defensive team as there has been in football for years. Right there was nothing for them. They may have to throw the ball to get it into the end zone, but you've got to, at that position, you've got to think you can jam it in and run it in. I look for him to run again.
Scott Durkin, like Johnny Lamb Jones, the wide receiver, the #1 draft pick, is also playing with sore ribs. He damaged his ribs 3 weeks ago. The Jets leading rusher, however, number 25, Scott Durkin. Gets the call again, and Randy Rasmussen lays a temporary block as he pulls out, and Durkin into the end zone, and the Jets are on the scoreboard first.
Pretty impressive 99-yard drive, guys.
It sure was. They don't look like a 1-6 team.
I mentioned they led the league in rushing a year ago. They were spectacular. They seemed to lead that when they had Lamb Jones come in to go with Wesley Walker, and thus far in 7 games, they're 11th in their conference in rushing, rather 10th, and they are now back to the kind of game they played a year ago. Leahy. Leahy puts it through the uprights, and it's the Jets 7-0 over the Miami Dolphins. 99-yard drive, most of it on the ground. 13:41 indicated on the scoreboard.
When I was a kid working this
7-0.
There's the graphic that tells it all. You control the ball that way. Spend 9 minutes, 22 seconds, go 99 yards. In this league, you're being a professional football team.
Well, it's interesting. Both teams have only had the ball once, and we're into the second quarter.
Leahy will kick off for the Jets. You saw Dorial Harris, number 82. He's thinking short kick, but Leahy puts a big foot into it and drives Dorial into the end zone where he'll bring it out. Tripped up as he moves out over the 15 to the 16. Tom Newton, a good special teams man down there for the Jets. So out trots David Woodley for the Miami Dolphins. He's in there again, in case you just happen to join us. Bob Greasy has a damaged shoulder some 3 weeks ago. They don't expect him back for several weeks. Don Strock had a concussion a couple of weeks ago, and he nevertheless in 7 years has really not lived up to what they anticipated he would be as a backup for Bob Greasy. And David Woodley figures to be the quarterback of the future for Don Shula. On first down, Terry Robisky. And Robisky upended by Bobby Jackson. Bobby Jackson, the fine defensive cornerback, up there quickly to make the stop. Flag is down.
As I watch the Dolphins move around their tight ends and do a lot of shifting on offense, it's obvious that Shula has not found the offensive that he wants. And he's trying a lot of different things to try to get them untracked and going. And they have not performed well the entire year offensively. The only time they performed well is when Greasy's come off the bench to save 2 victories for him.
Well, the man's been one of the most remarkable coaches in the history of the league. Here's Jim Tunney.
Illegal procedure indicated against Miami. There was a loss of about 1.5 yards on the play with Bobby Jackson's fine play, and so it was declined by the Jets. They went to use up the down. It'll be second down and we'll call it 12.
Frank, I couldn't believe the way Malavasi yesterday against Atlanta would not decline 2 penalties. That failure to decline gave Atlanta the opportunity to win the football game.
Matt Moore placed out to the left, out to the right, Dorial Harris, second and 12. And draw play Robisky, and Robisky out of the 20-yard line to the 23-yard line. Gain of about 8 yards. It'll be third down and 4 up into there by Ken Troy.
Important series for the Jets. They must establish that they can defense.
Well, you know, you were talking about the Jets' offensive line during the last time out, Howard. In this league, it hasn't changed for the last 50 years. In order to win consistently, you've got to have a great defensive football team. The trouble with the Pittsburgh Steelers today, their defense isn't playing like it has in the past, and they're struggling.
Cephalo comes in. He wears number 81 for the Miami Dolphins. Third down 4. David Woodley, straight drop back pass. As the time it throws over the middle is complete. Stan Blinka there quickly covering for the Jets, but it will be a first down. Nat Moore just seems to pop up where he should be. That time, that was a fine pass by Woodley because Blinka was all over Nat Moore.
It really was. Old Davis stood up in there, and he threw it like he knew what he was doing.
Well, the key was, and Frank mentioned it, he had the time. Jets, another weakness, they must develop a pass rush. Haven't been able to do it for years.
Dolphins at their own 28-yard line, down 7-0. Robisky bounces off one Jet. Gets back close to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard.
Well, give Joe Klecko credit for that. He didn't end up making the tackle, but he's the one that shot in there and knocked him off balance.
88 of those yards came on the part of Robisky in an effort against Buffalo.
Klecko is now a major motion picture star.
Yes,
Burt Reynolds' last movie, he frightened Jackie Gleason out of his wits.
He frightened me, and I was sitting on the 5th row.
Second down 10. Del Williams just into the pro set from the eye. And gets an inside handoff and runs into a lot of problems out of the middle of the line. It'll be third down and about 9. Ron Crosby reading the play. Did he ever? And got in there with Marty Lyons, number 93.
You know, in fairness to the Jets, they lost during the training season a man for the whole season whom they think will become one of the fine linebackers of this league. Of course, Frank, as you nod, he's from Penn State, Lance Mill. And he looks like a player.
They got him in the third round, and he does look like a player. 3rd and 9. Woodley. Again, he has the time. This time, Nat Moore does not hold on. He would not have had the first down. A fine defensive play. Bobby Jackson.
Oh, Bobby Jackson just had perfect position on it. Woodley there didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. He threw it the only place he had a chance. But Jackson was there. If he'd have caught the ball, he'd have been short because Jackson would have made the tackle.
That was a big series for the Jets. They contained them. Now they can get the ball back. If they can drive again, they can put Miami in a perilous position.
So George Roberts will punt for Miami. Here's Bruce Harper. It is not known whether Bruce will be able to play tonight or not. He missed last week's ball game with a pulled hamstring.
The Jets have the return on. They're not going to try to block it. They're going to try to return it.
Roberts kicks it high, and he's got a wind behind him. And he is hit a beauty. This time will begin from inside their own 35-yard line. Single setback is Kevin Long on the 33. Play action by Todd.
He's going for it all.
For Lamb Jones. Underthrown, and it'll be picked off out there by their rookie from Alabama, number 28. That is Don McNeil.
Well, he went for a speed guy, but he went against the wind, and it's hard to throw that long a ball against the wind, and it's also hard to overthrow Johnny Lamb Jones. He just outran the ball. Johnny Lamb Jones may be the fastest man in the world, and the ball is underthrown and intercepted. Miami's ball.
Fine defensive play by Don McNeil. Gets the football for the Miami Dolphins. They'll have possession at their own 27-yard line when we return in just a moment. At Chase Stadium in New York, Richard Todd trying to strike to his speedster. Johnny Lamb Jones underthrew the ball, picked off there quickly by McNeil, and the Dolphins have possession. It's been marked at their 23-yard line.
Well, Shula's kept Woodley under wraps pretty much tonight, and I imagine he'll continue to keep him under wraps.
Gary Robisky, the single setback. 2 tight ends are in now for the Dolphins. We'll see a lot of that tonight. Robisky over the left side finds an opening, and Robisky out of the 25 to the 27-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
What we have to watch for now, it seems to me, Fran, is whether or not Todd made a cardinal mistake in that call, and Miami can get some momentum going as a result of the turnover. The Jets had rolled for 68 yards by the rush, only 31 by the pass, and their touchdown drive. It didn't seem to be a propitious time to make the call he did, against the wind especially.
Didn't need to make a desperation throw. You're right.
2nd and 6. Del Williams following Robisky, who got a fine block, but Del Williams down at the 30-yard line. We had a beauty last night down in Dallas. Interesting game thus far here tonight at Shea Stadium, and of course next Monday night we'll be in Cleveland, where Cleveland, fresh off a big victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, will be taking on the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, but that's not going to be easy for the Browns. The Bears are rounding to form, as they say, and they gave the Eagles some battle. The Eagles with the best record in the league at 7-1.
3rd down and 3 for the young David Woodley at quarterback. Puts it in to Tony Nathan coming out of the backfield, and Nathan is up to the 40-yard line. First down Miami, and so far young David Woodley, who turned 22 only last Saturday, is looking awfully sharp.
Well, now they may be getting something going as a result of the turnover. Here's an end zone.
Well, here he is, still in the control game. He gets back in the pocket. He's going to hit his back out of the backfield. Nathan, good safe pass and a good pass to have. Nathan makes a little move, going to get the first down. And talking about your game next week, as we look at Tony Nathan, in my humble opinion, Howard, I think that Brian Sipe over the last 2 years has been the very best quarterback in the National Football League.
Well, you can make a very good case for that. Obvious.
Miami, first down, just short of their 40-yard line. Play action by Woodley, rolling out, giving him that opportunity to run, and receiver slipped downfield. That would be Nat Moore, and the ball was drilled into the turf. Actually, Stan Blinka helped Nat Moore slip. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Going back to the Todd call that provided the intercept by McNeil.
Right.
Fran, could you ever overthrow Homer Jones? Could you ever?
Well, any quarterback, you got a guy with that kind of speed. If you drop back 7 yards in the pocket as fast as you can, he split out wide. You cannot overthrow him. I don't care if you got Terry Bradshaw's arm. Todd even faked to the back and then went back, which prevented him to have any chance of getting the ball out in front of Johnny Lamb Jones.
2nd down 10. Dale Williams drifts into the flat, gets a one-man screen, gets a good block from Ed Newman, and turns it upfield for a pickup of about 5. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Marty Lyons sliding out there to make the stop.
Good tackle by Lyons. Frank, you remember when Tittle used to take the 7-step drop and try and reach after and couldn't do it?
Take a gun to reach those kind of speedsters. The problem was for Todd was he's throwing in against the wind that is really unpredictable here tonight.
Yes. Tough wind.
It'll hold that ball up for a long time.
All right, I imagine Mr. Woodley's going to throw something about the 8-yard range again, hit a back out of the backfield or in twisting into the middle.
Cephalo spread up to the top of your screen, wearing number 81.
There it is.
And dropped pass that should have been caught by Joe Rose, the rookie from California, 7th-round draft pick. It would have been a 1st down.
All right, here it is. Good call by Shula on the bench. Woodley's going to the right guy. Twist in by the tight end. Joe Rose, he puts the ball right in his hands. And the quarterback gets an incompletion.
Tell you, he's pretty cool back there, Fran.
And the end doesn't get an error on that.
He knew he was going to get popped by Gastineau, and yet he calmly drilled it in there.
He played at a very tough football school down at LSU under Charlie McClendon, and he's had good training.
George Roberts, he lost one for 52 yards a few moments ago with the prevailing breeze behind him. Bruce Harper has stationed himself at his own 10-yard line. Roberts gets an end-over-end job this time. And it takes a very definite Miami bounce at the 25-yard line. It's down at the 26. So the Jets will have possession at their own 26 with 6:58 remaining in the 1st quarter, and they have a 7-point lead over the Dolphins.
RC.
All right, here we go.
Jets have the ball, their own 26-yard line. They have a 7-0 lead. Barry Gaffney in motion, number 81 for the Jets. Scott Durking finds a big opening right side, and Scott Durking explode for 9 yards out over the 35 to the 36-yard line.
He ran right that time, right behind Marvin Powell.
And Dan Alexander. And I cannot believe the big gaping holes they're cutting into that Miami defense. In the front 7 of Miami, they're good football players.
They're playing as they did a year ago. At the start of this year, Marvin Powell was not himself. By the 3rd game, he was back in form. Remember, he was a Pro Bowler a year ago. Chris Ward, we've talked about.
2nd down, less than a yard. Gaffney in motion once again. Kevin Long, right up the middle behind Joe Fields, Alexander, and Rasmussen, the guards. Gets the 1st down for the Jets. They're going back to their football. That took them 99 yards for the lone score they have on the board.
It's a good night to have a good, strong running game because it is tough to throw in this wind. And the Jets have had a good, strong running game so far.
2 wide receivers right at the moment. Gaffney, 81. Bobby Jones, number 89. Play action by Todd. Todd looking for Gaffney. Incomplete. A flag is down.
And we are going to have a holding call.
Probably have not touched on one subject we should have, at least at length, is that the Jets have been without Wesley Walker, their great speedster on the outside, for much of the season. And when he is healthy, he is dynamite.
2nd year in a row.
Well, you know, the interesting thing, they made a big trade to get Johnny Lamb Jones. And they traded essentially, Howard, 2 number-1 draft choices, which turned out to be Jim Stuckey, a fine defensive lineman, as we listen to
Holding, number 72, 10 yards, still 1st down.
And the other person that San Francisco drafted on that draft was Earl Cooper. How would you like Earl Cooper running behind this offensive line?
He would be very helpful. I would like Earl Campbell. You've got the wrong Earl.
How about Billy Sims and Walter Payton?
Holding against Chris Ward, and the Jets do not like to hear that. 1st down and 20. Screen. Bruce Harper. And Harper finds himself a little gap and gets plenty of it back. About 13 of it as he moves out over the 40 to the 41. It'll be second down and 7.
That's the kind of guy you like to see play. Michaels likes to use him spottily. He doesn't want him hurt.
All right, watch here. Todd's going to come back. He fakes to the left. That's a good move. Draws the defense to the left. Screens back to the right. Got his big lineman out in front of him. And little Bruce Harper can run in a broken field because he's a punt returner, kickoff returner. He's used to that.
That was Walt Michaels' son, who was a classmate of Bruce Harper at Kutztown State, and he talked his dad into giving him a tryout 4 years ago.
Big block there by 65, Joe Fields.
Second down, 7. Harper gets it again, runs into A.J. Dewey from that inside linebacker position. A yard and a half pickup. It'll be third down and 3.
Well, the Jets have taken that big negative of the 10-yard penalty, and they've come back and got themselves a fighting chance to make this first down.
That first down problem didn't bother Atlanta. They had 3rd and 48 with only a minute and a half or less left.
The old prevent defense surfaced again.
And then Atlanta had 4th and 11 and scored.
Listen to George Allen on that one. He does not think much of the old 3-man line. 4:13 remaining in the half. Third down, 3. Play action. Good pickup. And Bruce Harper gets the first down, but what a tremendous block by Tom Newton. Working against a blitzing Larry Gordon. You will see it again. It made the first down possible.
Give that first down to Tom Newton. Tom Newton earned that first down. And watch him, the fullback, 44, watch him block. Larry Gordon's coming with a head of steam. He stands him up. That is some kind of block. That gave Todd the time to throw it out. Bruce Harper catches first down.
You'll rarely see a block that well isolated to be watched. That is marvelous.
Pretty good linebacker he was blocking there, too.
The first down is inside the 48-yard line of Miami. The Jets on the move once again. Straight drop back by Todd. Gets the blitz, dumps it off on the screen to Scott Durking, and under pressure overthrows.
He had him open. They had people out in front of him. It was a good-looking play. He just overthrew the ball.
It really was a good-looking.
What a great time to have a screen on if you can get it off against a blitz.
You mentioned George Allen. He said he had it as a rule of thumb when he was coaching to have his team call at least 5 screens and 5 draws per game. Now, if he had that as a rule of thumb, you can be sure every opposition team knew it. So he was playing into their hands if his team had to live by it.
I didn't know George Allen even had anything to do with the offense, Howard. I thought he only liked defense.
That was just an incidental he had to deal with.
That's right.
Second and 10.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and it's taken there by Bobby Jones. It looked like it was going to be intercepted by Bessalou, or rather Don McNeil.
I mean, Bessalou thought he had it too, Giff. 46 Bessalou.
He stepped right in front of it and thought he had it. He looked down and the ball wasn't there.
Watch this. Todd's back in the pocket now. You're going to watch 46 Bessalou cut in front of the receiver. Watch here. Here he comes. Oh, he just missed it. He kept running. He thought he had the ball.
He carried air with him.
He really did. But Bobby Jones comes up with a play. He's got good hands. He makes plays. Doesn't have great speed, but the kid can play.
Bobby Jones proved himself last year when Wesley Walker got hurt.
And he was questionable all week with a bruised lower leg. First and 10. Gaffney in motion. Ball at the 26-yard line. Here comes Scott Durking, and it's inside the 25. He'll get about 3 out of it. It'll be second down and 7 down at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, from a quarterback standpoint, when you complete a pass like that, which all of us have done from time to time, you know you got everything going for you. Todd ought to be full of confidence now.
Up to this point, the Jets are showing the fans not a 1-6 team, but as I said earlier, the kind of team they were expected to be. They're controlling the game at the line of scrimmage, which is the key to them.
Second down, 7, 2:34, and the clock is moving. Remaining here in the first half. Scott Durking. And Durking pecks along the line, finds a little gap, gets up just short of a first down by about a yard.
Well, he made some
third and short.
If he made some kind of a move there. He was going to the inside. He couldn't go to the inside because of the penetration of Gordon. He jumped to the outside and got himself down to 3rd and 1. Very good run by Durkin.
And we will not get another Jet playoff before the 2-minute warning is announced. I often wonder why they have a 2-minute warning. You think the coaches don't know there's 2 minutes remaining in the half of the game? In any event, we're getting it. 2 minutes remaining in the half. The Jets over the Dolphins 7-0. 99 yards using 9 minutes and 22 seconds to hang up the only points we have on the scoreboard, leading Miami 7-0. This drive, they have used 4 minutes and 38 seconds. They have a 3rd down and 1. The ball at the 17-yard line.
You know, Giff, as we look at the Jets, many people might have written them off, but these players, although they're 1-6, they think they can win the next 9 weeks and be 10-6 and be in the playoffs. And they're playing like it right now.
Short yardage offense. Partisan crowd. Exhorting the Jets on. Durkin, big opening. Durkin taken down by Rusty Chambers, but not until he gets down to the 6-yard line.
I'll tell you, the play of that Jets offensive line tonight, even admitting that Miami's offense...
Alexander crushed him. Look at Long's block. Marvin Powell crushed his man. And
look at Durkin
is just running over people. They're just ripping the Miami defense up.
He's a fire plug, Durkin.
I am surprised. I thought Miami would play it tough.
Some of the crowd here, so frustrated, so many years.
I hope it's Halloween.
They just look like that.
1st and goal. Durkin. No, Bokemper's out there. And down goes Durkin at the line of scrimmage.
He got strung out despite a good block by Randy Rasmussen.
Well, it was the same play they scored off from the 1-yard line. They tried to get to the 6, and this time the Dolphins defense did well.
You know, this must be awfully frustrating for Shula. He's lost 4 times in a row to the Dolphins. He was 10-6 a year ago, won the Eastern Division of the AFC, and nevertheless, 2 of his 6 losses were to the New York Jets. And he does believe in defense, does Don Shula, and his team is getting chewed up.
Well, the interesting thing, Walt Michaels is 4-0 against Shula. Do you believe that, Howard?
Yes, we made that point very early in the telecast.
They mark it at the 11, so a 2nd down and goal from the 7. A.J. Dewey takes Todd down from behind. And blitzing A.J. Dewey from the inside linebacker position, moves across, dumps Todd at the 16-yard line.
Now, Frank, this is a really critical series for the Jets. They're apparently not going to get a touchdown. They must score a field goal. They must not waste it. And yet Leahy, the kicker, has been in recent disrepute, fighting to hang on. Be interesting. We'll be right back.
Stadium here in New York City. The Jets have the lead, 7-0, 1:09 remaining in the first half. They have 2 timeouts remaining. A.J. Dewey has just sacked Richard Todd back at the 16-yard line. 3rd down, 16. Out to the right goes Derek Gaffney. Bobby Jones split to the left. The tight end is Mickey Schuler. Todd.
He scored.
Brilliant run. He was in trouble. It looked like he was going to be sacked. Pulled it down as he did in their first drive on a key 3rd down to get a 1st down. Tucked it away. Got into the end zone.
I'll tell you, my friends, that is some play by one Richard Todd. Ward is down.
Chris Ward blocking over the left side against Betters. Let's watch.
Let's watch it. He's in a tough situation. 3rd and 16 from down in there. He's going back to pass. He's going to get some pressure from Dewey and others. He doesn't see anybody open. He doesn't want to throw the interception. Here he comes out. He really doesn't think he's going to score. He's kind of going for the sidelines. He gets a block down the field. He makes a cut inside, and he drives to the goal line. That's some effort.
Gerald Small missed the tackle that would have kept Todd out of the end zone. And meanwhile, Chris Ward, we talked about him, great tackle from Ohio State. They look like they are working on the left leg of big Chris Ward.
Look like the left ankle. They must have this man, the Jets, to have any hope for the rest of the year.
Chris Ward now in his 3rd year. And we have talked about it already tonight. As far as a pair of tackles, you'll have to go a long way to find 2, such as Chris Ward on the left side, Marvin Powell on the right. Chris Ward is saying, I'm all right. They're clipping some tape off that left ankle, and they'll make sure everything is okay before they'll let him get up.
You know, it's awful tough for a big man with an ankle problem, if that is indeed what it is. That's a load to carry.
This is a man who's 2 of Danny White last night on 2 punt situations, one of which was extraordinary. White making a 1st down that gave Dallas the momentum to lead its charge against San Diego in the 2nd half.
Well, on for the conversion. This is really going to put the pressure on the Dolphins as they head for the locker room at halftime. 14-0. The Jets over the Dolphins. 59 seconds remaining here in the first half. Walt Michaels has to like it. We'll be back in a moment.
That Chris Ward has a sprained left ankle. Apparently no break. They're not sure whether or not he'll be back in the game. That'll depend on the flow of the contest and what happens with the injury in the next few minutes.
Pat Leahy will tee it up at the 35. Dorial Harris is dropped for the Dolphins. The Dolphins have 2 timeouts. They have the young quarterback, David Woodley, of course.
But Giff, now Shula's been wanting to protect the quarterback and has so far, but being 14 points now, Woodley's going to have to take some chances and open up this offense.
Leahy rips another booming kickoff. Dorial Harris bobbles it in the end zone. He'll stay there, of course. And Miami will have their possession out at the 20-yard line. 59 seconds. 2 timeouts for Miami. David Woodley really on the spot because, again, as I said before, Bob Greasy out for, well, they really don't know how long with a bad shoulder. Don Strock has been unsuccessful in a few starts. Greasy came off the bench and won a couple of games against, specifically, Atlanta and New Orleans when Strock started. And the man for the future for Don Shula figures to be David Woodley. He even traded away Guy Benjamin, a number 2-round draft pick All-American quarterback he took from Stanford a year ago. He traded Benjamin and kept Woodley, trading Benjamin to New Orleans. 1st and 10. Del Williams piled up as he gets to the line of scrimmage, ekes out a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Well, I think what Shula's going to do here is be content to go in 14 down, maybe. No, they're going to go in the 2-minute offense. You wouldn't have thought it with the first call.
2nd and 9. That was Klecko and Buttle on the stop. Now Woodley will put it in the air.
He's going deep.
Got a long gun, and there was a little collision downfield. No flags. Donald Dykes was down there defending against Dorial Harris.
Well, if they called it, would have called anything, it should have been offensive pass interference. Was Dorial Harris.
I agree with you.
As you'll watch Dorial Harris, 82. He'll grab the defensive back right here. He pulled him down.
Little disco step on the part of Harris.
It's a good trick if you can get away with it. Surprising to see a Miami team look like this when you look at the decade of the 70s.
Remember the 72 and 73 season. 32-2 over those 2 years. 2 Super Bowl titles, and down goes Woodley. And he was flattered by Mark Gastineau.
Let me tell you something. That kid has a chance to become a truly great football player. Part of it depends on the communication between him and Buttle behind him and Bobby Jackson behind him.
Welcome to the National Football League, David.
Oh,
my goodness.
What a size on this man, up to 280 pounds.
I like his hat, too.
Seconds are ticking off the clock. It
I think
might be propitious for the Jets to call a timeout, try and block this punt. They do not, however.
You're right, Jeff. They ought to call timeout because Miami's going to let it run out.
Sure they
have
will.
a chance to block it. They should call timeout.
And he will not even have to kick the football.
I don't believe
They'll let it all run out.
Not good strategy not to call it.
There it is.
Now that's a coaching the failure to call timeout, period.
Into the half, and the Jets ball control football. They lead the Dolphins 14 at the Big Apple. And the Jets, of course, on top 14-0 over the Miami Dolphins again. The Dolphins need a win tonight to stay within 1 game of Buffalo and New England in the AFC Eastern Division. Buffalo and New England locked there in the lead with 6-2 records. Of course, Miami, the defending Eastern Division champion of the AFC. Uwe von Schaumburg set to kick. Deep are Bruce Harper and Woody Bennett. And we'll see Bruce Harper from the 2-yard line. And Harper out over the 20 to the 22-yard line, where we will anticipate, again, the return of Richard Todd. Kevin Long, 33 at setback. Scott Durkee, number 25, alternating, of course, with Harper. Those are your halftime statistics. Time of possession.
Look at those rushing yards, Skip. 109 Jets, 41 for the Dolphins. 13 first downs to 6.
Oddly enough, very close in time of possession, considering the long drives by the Jets to their 14 points. Ready to go now. Woody Bennett opens at one setback, number 46. The free agent came up last year out of the University of Miami. Gaffney goes in motion, and Bennett gets the call out to the 25-yard line. A gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Up into there by Kim Bocamper, number 58. We've seen a lot of double tight end offense, Fran, from both the Jets and the Dolphins.
We really have. The first half, the Jets ran in well against the Dolphins. But Bill Arnsberg is the defensive coach. He's an excellent defensive coach. I would think he made some adjustments at half. I would expect the Dolphins to shut down this running game some in the second half.
Out to the right goes Derek Gaffney. Bobby Jones out to the left, number 89. We've seen very little of Johnny Lamb Jones, the number 1 draft pick, the much heralded speedster from Alabama, or rather Texas. This is Bruce Harper, upended right about the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd down and 7. With the Jets of '69, who will ever forget them? Joe Namath and his group upsetting Baltimore in the Super Bowl. And Joe saying exactly how he was going to do it.
Scott Turking, Frank, we're told, has a strained calf and will not return in this game, which can help the Jets.
And Chris Ward is out as we start the second half, and John Roman's in at left tackle. I wonder what effect that'll have.
We're now told, Fran, that Ward won't be back either. Giff?
3rd down, 7. Just underway in the second half. Todd, straight drop back. As the time fires over the middle and is taken there by Johnny Lamb Jones. And Jones had figured out his yardage rather closely. He is close to a first down. I believe he has it.
He does.
Right. Great athlete. Of course, a member of the gold medal winning 400-meter relay team up at Montreal. Very interested in Special Olympics. Donated that gold medal to the founder of the Special Olympics, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, also when he signed his contract. Gave what was reported to be the largest cash donation from an individual the Special Olympics has ever received. Interesting young man. Kevin Long, single setback for the Jets on 1st and 10. Dodd in a bunch of trouble. And he gets Kevin Long in a bunch of trouble back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, I'll tell you, the play was made there by Kim Bocamper. Todd has got great mobility, but Bocamper kept leverage on him. All right, here he is. You see Bocamper with both hands right in his face, made it very tough for Todd. He threw the ball in there.
Ouch.
By Rusty Chambers. He said hello.
2nd down, 10.
Frank, you mentioned Lamb Jones. Gil Brandt, the great personnel head of the Cowboys, told me over the weekend he still thinks Lamb Jones has the capacity to be the best athlete in the league. The best.
That might be stretching it a bit, but he certainly has potential for All-Pro. He has all the qualities. Kevin Long piled up over the right side on a 2nd down and 10 call.
Well, Giff, the Dolphins are stopping the run in the second half much better than they did the first half, and they're going to force the Jets to throw the ball a little bit.
Gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Specialty teams come in anticipating the pass. Defensively, we see changes for Miami. And Johnny Lamb Jones comes into the lineup. 3 wide receivers now for the Jets. And Richard Todd, Derek Gaffney, 81. Jones, of course, number 80, and Bobby Jones, number 89.
Giff, the Jets are 7 of 7 in 3rd down conversions coming to this down.
It's incredible.
That is. That is incredible.
On 3rd and 8. Todd. And taken there by Bessalou. Bessalou coming up with the interception, his 2nd of the season. Bessalou, of course, in there defensively for the Dolphins and playing well, replacing Tim Foley, who will be out for the season with a knee injury.
He really is playing well. Here goes Todd back in the pocket. He's throwing against the wind. It's 3rd and 10. He's got good protection. Forced out up in a little bit, but that's good protection. Watch Bessalou here. Makes a very good interception. He's a free agent from Georgia Tech, and he's made a lot of big plays for the Miami Dolphins this year. And we'll be back in just a moment.
48-yard line. Bessalou coming up with a Richard Todd interception. On 1st down, the rookie quarterback, David Whitley, hands off to Robisky, and Robisky pounds out to the 46-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 4. I want to remind you, Saturday, NCAA college football and all of its excitement, a doubleheader beginning live at 12 o'clock Eastern. We'll begin with the national telecast. South Carolina, ranked number 14 against Georgia, ranked number 4. See 2 of the best running backs in college football, George Rogers of South Carolina and Herschel Walker, the phenomenal freshman from Georgia. And that will be followed by these games. Check the listing for the game in your area. Second down 4, Dale Williams. Dale Williams spins back on, comes close to the first down around the 43-yard line. Nothing doing on the right side, so he cut it back to the left side, taken there by Joe Klecko. And Dale Williams had been playing with a little bit of a problem this year, as he did last year. Trouble with an ankle, a neck.
Frank, you just mentioned NCAA college football. I hope the folks get a good chance to see that South Carolina-Georgia game. Quite apart from the brilliance of the freshman, Herschel Walker, you've got to look at this young man, Rogers, from South Carolina. He is cutting the mold of Earl Campbell. He can play.
On third and short, Dale Williams gets the first down easily on the big gaping hole over on the left side behind Bob Kuchenberg, the 11-year veteran from Notre Dame. And it'll be a first down and 10. The ball now at the 39-yard line of the Jets.
And they got something going. They're talking about that. I'm going to be in Athens this Saturday to see that Georgia-South Carolina game. And Rogers is a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate, but Herschel Walker may be the greatest running back I've ever seen. He is
as a freshman,
but he may be the best in the country. He is unbelievable. He's really something.
First and 10. Whitley will put it in the air. Has the time, and he rifles it downfield. It'll be picked off. And defensively, it's Donald Dykes. That ball underthrown, but intended for Duriel Harris. Dykes stepped in front. Interception.
Give credit to that interception to number 93, Marty Lyons, because he made Woodley throw it short. He was right up in his chin strap, hit him as he threw it. He couldn't get anything on the ball. And here goes the interception. Here goes Duriel Harris down the field. Being covered pretty well by Dykes. You don't see Dykes yet because he's so deep. But he's running with him all the way. Harris really didn't get behind him. Dykes was playing the ball, came back, and made the interception.
And the Jets have the football at their own 5-yard line. A turnover by each team, and the Jets will start deep in their own territory when we come back.
Giants Jets, they both only won one game. They may be after tonight.
Bruce Harper over the left side. Dewey was there along with Doug Betters for Miami.
Well, the key now for the Jets is not to make mistakes. Richard cannot risk any more turnovers. They got away with the last one because of 93 Marty Lyons.
You're right.
Who's back where he belongs. When they used him as a rookie at defensive end, it didn't work for him, and they used him on the side he was not accustomed to. But now, back at tackle, he is playing very well.
Harper got a pair of yards. It'll be second down and 8 from the 7-yard line for the Jets. Remember, their first possession, they went 99 yards. Todd, wide open is Gaffney. If he stays in bounds, he does out to the 25, first down.
That shows me a little courage on Mr. Todd's part. He had thrown an interception. He's down inside his own 5-yard line. He stayed in there, good and calm, delivered a strike to Gaffney, gets him out of a hole. All right, here comes Todd back in the pocket from the end zone. Watch his poise. Plenty of protection. You love that kind of protection. He can look the field over, nobody in his face. Hits his man. Good play by Gaffney. He just did barely get it in.
Gaffney's not a bad receiver. He had 5 a week ago against Seattle in a losing effort, of course.
His foot is just barely touching the line. That doesn't count.
In motion is Kevin Long, number 33, and here comes Bruce Harper. Finds an opening, and Harper out over the 30-yard line. Gain of 5. It'll be second down to 5. Rusty Chambers defensively there for Miami, number 51.
The Jets play, Howard, their best offense when they're backed up inside the 5-yard line. They start coming out of there. They had a 99-yard drive early in the game, and now they're backed up and they've gotten out of the hole.
Well, I'm really impressed with the play of their offensive line. It's a throwback to a year ago, and it's a young line.
Incidentally, on the left side for the injured Chris Ward is number 61, John Roman. Single setback. Kevin Long, and he turns the right side, and he'll have the first down easily. Well, not all that easily, but he'll have it. Don McNeil in on the stop for the Dolphins.
You love to do it this way as you look at Kevin Long's career record. You love to chew up the clock. They used to call it Lombardi football. They could still call it that for my money.
Well, with all the passing we have in football today, if you're going to win consistently, you still got to be able to run the ball. The Jets are doing that tonight. The Dolphins aren't.
Jets stay with the single setback. Kevin Long on first and 10. was an early departure by one of the Jets' offensive linemen. The flag is down. Kevin Long is dropped for a couple of yard loss, and we may see Miami decline that call. Rusty Chambers confirms what we thought. Vern Den Herder. Boy, he has been a steady one.
He really has
Illegal
been.
motion. Right side of the offensive line was moving. Declined. Second down.
Vern Den Herder played in 139 of the last 142 games. And there's Tim Foley.
One of the finest young men, Frank, I have ever known in sport.
Pro Bowler last year.
Right.
Out for the season.
Used to be a cornerback. Moved to strong safety. Still Pro Bowl. Out of Purdue.
2nd and 12. Gaffney, first down, and a beautiful diving catch by Derek Gaffney. Youngster out of Florida, now in his 3rd year. Runs a good pattern, does not have the speed, certainly, of Wesley Walker, whom he is replacing.
Todd threw that ball exactly where you've got to throw that little slant in pass. Down low. The receiver doesn't want it up high where the defensive back can come in and get his ribs. You see Gaffney coming in. He doesn't mind going down low for the ball. He ain't going to get hurt down there. Todd put it in the right place. You're not going to get an interception putting the ball there.
Jets on the move again, and they are out to the 48-yard line, their own 48. Johnny Land Jones in the lineup, top of your screen. Kevin Long, right side, and Bob Baumauer from his nose guard position slides off the block, slips over, makes a stop close to the line of scrimmage. There's Baumauer. Came up with A.J. Dewey. Remember, Howard?
Yep, they were a great
pair.
pair.
They were.
Yep. He is some kind of strong.
Dewey, number 1 draft pick 4 years ago. Baumauer,
Number
2nd-round
2
draft pick. Gain of about a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. The ball marked right at the 49-yard line. Rapidly moving game. 6 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the clock is moving. Jones again, split top of your screen.
Here comes
Watch the reverse. He has great speed.
Larry Gordon.
So does Larry Gordon, who read it all the way, saw it coming, stepped across, and there will be a yard lost.
It's a good thing he read it all the way, because that's the way to use Lamb Jones. Last night we watched Dallas use Billy Joe Dupree on an end around twice. Both times effective. The man who really knew how to run that play, and he ran it against your old Minnesota team when you were still with the Giants in the Super Bowl, you remember, in New Orleans, was Henry Strand. Hammerin' Henry, who's in the next booth. He used Frank Pitts, number 25, and he destroyed the Vikings in the Super Bowl with the end around. You
Well, I'm not
remember?
sure he destroyed him, but
Well, it was part of it.
he beat him.
Loss of a couple. 3rd down and 11. Ball back inside the 47-yard line of the Jets. Cobb, straight drop back. Overthrows Kevin Long and almost threw it out of the stadium.
Well, it was safe. He wasn't going to have another interception. He threw a safety there, but he should have thrown the ball down the field because he had a receiver open about the 1st down marker.
He had Derek Gaffney.
We'll get Chuck
Exactly what it
Ramsey,
was.
the punter for the Jets, after 7 games, was leading the AFC. This will be his first punt of the night. Had 1 block last week. That, of course, against Seattle. That was taken in for a Seattle touchdown. The Jets ultimately losing that game 27-17.
That's what turned the game against the Jets, a game they should have won.
Tony Nathan is deep for Miami, and he's dangerous. Nathan tries to hurdle over Ken Stroy, does not do so, and he is down close to the 13-yard line. So Miami, with young David Whitley at quarterback, will begin from the 13-yard line when we come back.
Greasy behind the center right now, which he would dearly love to have.
Young David Whitley, the rookie from LSU, 6'2", 196 pounds. And he'll go to the air on 1st and 10, goes out to the tight end, Bruce Hardy. Bruce Hardy is hammered there by Donald Dykes after a gain of about 4. Bruce Hardy's first reception on the night. Dolphins with 3 tight ends, Hardy, Ronnie Lee, and Joe Rose, the rookie from California.
No man can execute a miracle. There's Bob Greasy, the old surgeon of the 70s. Shula can't do it without the players. Bobby Beathard is gone.
So Second down, 5, and Terry Robisky gets the first down, moving out to the 25-yard line. Interesting story about Robisky, too. When he was cut back in August, late August, by Oakland, he went and tried out with a couple of ball clubs. He tried out with Cincinnati. He tried out with New Orleans. Miami gave him a tryout. They didn't pick him up right away. But then when things started to go wrong, they weren't getting the production from Steve Howell. And, of course, Larry Zonka had his problems and finally ultimately retired. The Dolphins called Robisky back, and he was spectacular a week ago against Buffalo in Miami's win over Buffalo. First and 10. Quick screen, and he goes to Duriel Harris. And Duriel Harris with quick speed, and he is really a fluid, graceful athlete. He gets the first down out of the 37.
Well, they still have the great receivers of the 70s, and Moore and Harris, no question about that. But, you know, when you look back to the beginnings of Miami as an expansion team, when Joe Robbie took over the club, he built this club with a player pool that was created through Joe Thomas, now unemployed, and one of the smartest men in football. And his unemployment is a question mark.
That is a mystery, is it not?
Yes.
That really is.
First and 10, the ball at the 37-yard line of the Dolphins. Robisky given the football again. He hammers for a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd and 8 out near the 39-yard line. Stan Blinka, 54. Abdul Salam, 74, bottom of the pile.
Then, of course, Frank, along came Bobby Beathard, now with Washington. And Bobby is a positive genius at discovering players. He's of a cut with Gil Brandt, Al Davis, and others. But
second down 8. Tony Nathan, good receiver in the lineup for the Jets. Rather the Dolphins, and that was in and out of the hands of Nat Moore. Bobby Jackson defending, and Nat Moore knows that he would catch 9 of 10 of those.
Well, you know, Jeff, you played that position, but that's that slant in pass across the middle. We saw Todd throw it down low, get a completion. Woodley threw it up high. Receiver coming across the middle, doesn't want that ball up high. Watch here. He's cutting down the middle. He knows he's running the traffic. The defensive backs all around him. Watch him have to stretch up. That's a very vulnerable position. Very tough to catch that hard ball that high.
But look at Bobby Jackson. Right on the ball, didn't get it, showed his chagrin.
Nick Giaquinto is in on 3rd down and 7, number 35 in the backfield for the Dolphins. Over the middle, and this time Nat Moore has the ball, and this will be dependent upon where they mark it as to whether or not Nat Moore had the yardage for the first down. Greg Buttle defensively there for the Jets, number 51.
This is a big, big placement by the officials. I think he has it.
I think he may be a tad short, but it's interesting as I watch Woodley play and Shula call the plays. He's only thrown 2 balls tonight over 10 yards. So it's still a controlled football game by Shula. He doesn't want to get the kid in trouble. Let's watch the measurement. If he doesn't make it, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for it on 4th down. Howard, you are right again. I am wrong again. How could that be?
First down, Miami. Ball just inside their own 47-yard line. 2:55 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 14-0 the Jets. Shula. Great record, Baltimore and Miami. He'll be back. Robisky, 38. Single setback. Going for Hardy. He's there. And Bruce Hardy, wide open, does not hold on to the football. Williams back into the lineup for the Dolphins. Number 24. Out to the right comes Duriel Harris. Top of your screen, Nat Moore. On the draw. Sips the tackle of Marty Lyons, gets into Jet territory to the 49-yard line before he's taken there by Ken Schroy.
Tempers are getting very, very edgy. Miami frustrated. They must have this victory to stay in the chase.
And they got to get something going. And this drive is the best thing they've had going in a while, and they'd like to sustain it. And here they come to another 3rd down situation, 3rd and 6.
Tony Nathan comes in. He's a good receiver coming out of the backfield. Number 22, second-year man out of Alabama.
He'll throw short.
Joe Rose is in there tight end, the rookie from California, number 80. 3rd and 6. runs in the pattern. And Nathan, the good receiver I spoke of, hammers it up into the air, and it was almost intercepted by Ron Crosby. Another one that should have been caught.
Well, the quarterback gets the incompletion, almost got the interception, but Woodley threw a strike, and the error should have been on Nathan the back.
That's right. It's about time they changed.
They should change some of those. I mean, Woodley throws a strike. Watch this. Nathan has it right in his face mask.
And Roberts bangs it on 4th down.
Good kick.
Takes a good Miami bounce, and Bruce Harper fields it at the 7 and gets back out close to the 20-yard line before he's taken there by Elmer Bailey. 38-yard punt. We have 1:29 remaining in the 3rd quarter. We'll be back with the
to the house, and he said, "What lovely Naugahyde" to Bobby's mother. And there was leather. And she said, "You will not play for that man."
1st and 10 Jets. Kevin Long piled up at the 25-yard line. 3.5 yards. Call it 2nd down and 7. Jets leading 14-0. Capacity crowd. The empty seats I spoke of at the beginning of the game probably had a little bit to do with the traffic that we have on Long Island here in the east. They are filled now. 2nd and 7. Gaffney started in motion, settles in as a wingback. And Kevin Long gives it a try on the left side and gets out over the 25 to the 27. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Well, the Dolphins have tightened up this defense. They're making the Jets work for everything in the 2nd half, but their offense still can do nothing. And that's been the story of the Dolphins for the entire 1st half of this season. How they're 4-3 right now, Howard, is a miracle.
Especially their upset of Buffalo, which is a fine football team.
They've won those 4 games by a combined total of 12 points.
Pretty thin line.
Play action. Pressure from Gordon, and Bruce Harper comes up with the football. He'll dance around for you. Gets the 1st down. Bruce Harper out close to the 42-yard line. Larry Gordon, who was in there pressuring on the blitz, came back upfield, made the stop for Miami.
Another well-executed play. They faked the run, and Todd made the good throw to the halfback. This is all you need, a few yards. Watch the block by Kevin Long. Almost a block on Gordon. Todd had him in his face, still threw a strike to Harper, and then watch Harper do his thing.
He is fun, isn't he?
He really is. But watch Larry Gordon hustle now. He's back into the play.
Bruce Harper gets the 1st down at the 42-yard line. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. The score of the Jets 14, Miami nothing. We'll be back with 4th quarter action. 14-0 lead as we begin the 4th quarter. They also have a bit of a problem with their setbacks. Scott Durking, who had a good 1st half, is out of the lineup for the moment. He came into the game with sore ribs. He has sore calf now. Clark Gaines is on the injured reserve. He perhaps their best back. He hurt his leg 3 weeks ago. So in there now is Woody Bennett, 46, and Tom Newton, number 44, the setbacks. Tom Newton. And Newton is no problem at all as he gets 9 up to midfield. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Now let's look at the 3rd quarter stats, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the Jets' edge in 1st downs. Huge in rushing yards, big in passing yards, huge in total yards. Time of possession, not that huge, but still their advantage, and it reflects their domination of this football game through their offensive line.
2nd down and 2. Newton again gets the 1st down. In and out of the arms of A.J. Dewey, but he struggles forward to get the 1st down as Glenn Blackwood brings him to the turf at the 45-yard line of the Dolphins. $14-0. The Jets going back to ball control, which has been their trademark.
And they're not going to do anything fancy again. They're going to throw the short pass, run the ball, and eat up that clock.
1st and 10. Newton again over the left side behind Rasmussen. And John Roman, who has replaced the injured Chris Ward, gets a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
If before anybody counts the Dolphins out yet, though, I've seen them this year twice before. They were dead against New Orleans in the 4th quarter. They were dead against the Falcons in the fourth quarter, and they came back and won both football games. Shula teams have a way of coming back.
Well, you just saw a sign here, which indicates the pressure that Walt Michaels has been under as coach. After this game, that pressure may be lessened because Shula is a great coach, and without the players, even he can't win.
2nd and 8. Todd, straight drop back. Has a man deep out there. Hangs it up into a crowd in the end zone, incomplete. The intended receiver, Bobby Jones, back there covering, were a pair of Miami defenders. Don Besselou, principally number 46, was running stride for stride with Jones. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Oh, Richard back there saying, let me throw it a little quicker than I did this time. He let him get down the field a little too far. He was open a little earlier. But there's Besselou again, Howard. He's in position to make a play along with Gerald Small. Besselou stays around that football.
Well, there was double coverage, and you can't really be too critical of that call because if it were picked off, it's still a safe call. It's picked off way back, and they've got no place to go but the length of the gridiron.
3rd down 8. Ball at the 43-yard line of Miami. Todd, he's got him, looking for Harper. And Bruce Harper, who's putting on quite a show tonight inside the 5-yard line of the Dolphins. And Todd, right on target.
That was a terrific read by Todd. They had both outside receivers doubled. They put in a 5th defensive back, and Shula is angry. The only guy to throw to was the guy he threw to. Here he goes, back in the pocket. He's got good protection. He moves around to buy a little time. There goes Harper down the field.
You could read lips. You could see
He beat
Shula
Ed
say,
Taylor.
who did he beat?
He beat Ed Taylor, defensive back. That's why they put him in there to cover that back out of the backfield. But Harper just beat him, and Todd threw the strike.
Ed Taylor's been around, part of Shula's problem. This is a ball player who's never really made it. Been around a number of teams.
Started for the Jets in 77 and 78.
Exactly.
1st and goal, the Jets inside the 5-yard line. Kevin Long, submarine tackle by Bob Baumauer.
Good call, though, on 1st down inside the 5. You've been running the ball well all night. You got the big offensive line. You got to give it a whirl. Now, second and goal from the 6. You might think about the pass.
Loss of a couple on the play. And Miami thinking right along with Fran Tarkenton. They bring out one of their bigger defensive linemen, thinking that Todd will be putting it in the air. Bring in a defensive back. Todd, play action.
He's got him open.
And you do not get away from Larry Gordon when he is in that close of proximity. He's quick, and he drops Todd at the 8-yard line.
But Jerome Barkham was sitting in the end zone all alone, and I think he was the chosen receiver. Richard just didn't see him.
Now they mark it at the 9, so it'll be 3rd down and goal from the 9-yard line.
We've got 11 minutes left in the ball game. It's 14-0. A Jet score conceivably could clinch the game for the Jets. Though Miami did overcome an Atlanta 17-point lead under similar circumstances in an earlier game.
But the field goal is important here. He doesn't want to give the ball up with an interception or fumble. So throw something safe. If it's not there, throw it away.
Mickey Shula, the tight end, offsides, no whistle. You got to play it out.
Oh, no.
And into the end zone, intercepted. And Miami will be able to decline that penalty.
My goodness.
And they'll get the football. The Jets come away empty.
How to really foul up a situation.
That's being succinct.
That is not a smart throw.
To say it mildly.
3rd interception of the night. Glenn Blackwood was right there, standing in front of the receiver. Let's watch again.
Well, Walt Michaels is concerned we might be not kind to Richard Todd. And Richard Todd's played pretty well tonight, but right here, he threw a bad ball, and it wasn't a smart throw.
What do you mean Walt Michaels was concerned? We'll get to that because we've got a break for a commercial. I've been explored openly.
Problem. Well, we have to be a little considerate. Miami now down by 14. They were facing either 21 or a 17-point deficit. They have the ball at their own 7-yard line. Woodley feeling the pressure, had to release the ball in the direction of Nat Moore, but Ron Crosby was there on the coverage for the Jets.
All right, here comes Todd on the play. Now his end has already gone offside, which he saw is going to be a penalty against his own team. Here he goes to throw. He is sandwiched in between two people. He didn't get to see the results of it, but he heard the crowd.
Well, that's irrelevant. It was a high schoolish play. All he had to do was throw the ball away. They had to get a field goal to clinch the game. He didn't do it. Terrible, terrible thinking by a professional football quarterback.
Second down at 10. Willie to the air once again. Conley looks downfield, finds a receiver, Duriel Harris, and I've seen Duriel Harris catch those passes before.
I have too.
Times.
The young quarterback Woodley is under a lot of pressure back there. He's not getting the best protection in the world, and he threw really a strike to Duriel Harris. A little bit out in front, but it's where you want to throw that ball.
Do you really believe Walt Michaels said he rather you weren't working this game because you might be harsh on his quarterback?
I don't know whether he said it or not. I read it.
Well, I can't believe he said it, because if anybody thinks you or I or anybody in this booth is going to be a statue, he's crazy.
Third down 10. Nathan is in there for the Dolphins. Pressure. Whitley has to get rid of it. Good play. And he does. Gets it out complete to Nat Moore, short of the first down, out around the 13-yard line, and Miami will have to punt.
The Jet defense has come alive here. Woodley just had to throw 3 balls there under extreme pressure. It's like throwing out of a silo when you have that kind of pressure at you. And now they got to punt it away. And the Jets will have good field position again. And the clock is ticking down.
9:55, and it is moving. Dolphins shut out 34-0 earlier this year by New England. Prior to that, they had gone 10 years without being blanked. And that was in 1970 by the Colts, 35-0. Bruce Harper for the Jets at midfield, awaiting George Roberts' punt. Harper bobbles the ball at midfield and wisely collects it before he's hammered there. Hustling downfield, number 59, Steve Shaw. 37-yard punt, and the Jets will be right at midfield when we return to foul at midfield. Jets with a 14-0 lead. Miami unable to generate an offense tonight. Kevin Long tries to break it off to the outside. Turns it back in for about a 3-yard pickup for a second down and 7. Rusty Chambers 51, Kim Bocamper 58 defensively there for Miami.
Well, Miami has been able to come up with 3 defensive turnovers. They really haven't. They've only allowed 14 points, but Miami's offense has been completely inept. Just hasn't been able to do much of anything.
Richard Todd, now in his 4th year, came up in the shadow, played behind, and started for Joe Namath back in '76. Kevin Long over the left side, and Randy Rasmussen once again. Ralph Ortega defensively in there for Miami, number 54. A.J. Dewey came on at the game a little earlier. He's being administered some treatment on the sidelines.
And there's the clock counting down, Frank. The clock now working against Miami, creating an awkward situation for them. A couple of Jets first downs, and that could do.
Play action by Todd. That's it. Looks over the middle. Gets the first down, going out to Kevin Long. They'll mark it at the 33-yard line. Another Jets first down, and the seconds continue to tick away.
You know what Richard Todd is, Francis, in my view? He's what Mr. Branch Rickey, the late Branch Rickey, used to call an anesthetic ball player. He has the great athletic ability to execute the kind of run that he did for the touchdown that made it 14-0. He'll come up with some great passes, and then he'll make the kind of high schoolish play that brought about the interception that was uncalled for. You keep hoping that he'll mature into a great one.
On first down, Bocamper makes the hit on Kevin Long. Flags are down.
Well, I think the Jets jumped off. The left tackle there looked like he jumped too quick, and that was John Roman.
Roman in there in place of Chris Ward, who left the game with a damaged ankle in the first half.
Well, I think the mark of any good quarterback is consistency. One that gives you a consistent ball game day in, day out, and that comes with maturity.
This penalty will be declined. Miami wants the football. They'll gamble, even though there was a pickup of about a yard on that play. And it'll be 2nd down and 9 rather than 1st down and 14. They need the football. 7:20 remaining in the game. Jets on top 14-0. A loss by the Dolphins will drop their record to 4-4. They'll drop into a tie with Baltimore. A couple of games behind the leaders in their division, New England and Buffalo. They want the football, and they're coming with the blitz. Harper is hammered there.
What Miami's saying now on defense, they're coming with the blitz, Frank. You're right. They're rushing the 3 down linemen, 2 or 3 linebackers, which makes it very difficult to run against. They're saying, Jets, we're going to stop your run and make you throw for it, although you don't want to throw and you want to eat up the clock. That's good strategy on defense.
Saw Ralph Ortega at 54 picking up the defensive call. He's interesting. They picked him up. Got a Cuban by nationality. Very popular, of course, in the Miami area. 3rd down 8. Here comes a safety blitz.
Good play.
Harper, and he had a broken field in front of him.
He sure did, and it was a good call. Excellent call.
Good call by Richard Todd. A well-executed screen pass. Again, Harper drops the ball. Should have gotten the error. Here he comes off the I formation. Miami's coming with a blitz. They're going to stop the run. They did the right thing. Threw a safe pass out to Harper. He threw a strike to him. He didn't handle the catch.
Clearly at 1st down space in front of him.
Out comes Pat Leahy. Howard mentioned he's been trouble this year. Much of last season with the knee. Never regained the form that he had in 78 when he was 22 of 30. This will be a 48-yard attempt. A lot of distance and a whole bunch of accuracy. 48-yard field goal. Pat Leahy, and he is congratulated by his teammates. He has been under a lot of pressure with the Jets, and the Jets now assume a commanding position of 17-0 over the Dolphins.
When I was a
The New England shut out Miami, as I mentioned earlier this year, 34-0. Prior to that, Don Shula had not been shut out for 10 years.
Giffen Howard, at this point, if you're Miami and you're Don Shula, do you go to the bench to a veteran quarterback in Strock, or do you stay with Whitley?
Stay with Whitley. He's the quarterback that I believe that Don Shula has based the future of the Dolphins on. And he has not played that poorly tonight. He's had a lot of drop balls. This is Duriel Harris. Flag is down as Harris falls to the 25-yard line. Jesse Johnson defensively there on the stop.
We got a flag on the play. We may have a penalty on the Dolphins on the return.
Looked like a clip.
Against Miami, and referee Jim Tunney and his crew are working a very tight game tonight. We've heard very little from our officials tonight, and that is nice.
I love Tunney.
And while they mark it off, we'll tell you tonight on the eve of the televised presidential debate, ABC News examines the crucial television debate and the angle that this debate will play in the election.
Inside his 15-yard line again. That's a tough way to have to start.
We have little time.
Whitley, 11 of 24, 71 yards. Not a true indication, however, because we've already spoken many times of the drop balls that Whitley's had. This is Nick Gianquinto, a much-traveled football player. Gianquinto moves up close to the 1st down around the 23-yard line. He was cut by the Giants. He was cut by the Jets, cut by Ottawa. Was teaching school this past spring in Fort Lauderdale. Miami thought they'd give him a try, and he's on the ball club. There he is.
And when you have to pick up players like this, you know your team's in trouble. Early in the year, we talked about the Giants picking up Matthews as a runner.
You watch the measurement, San Diego's got Chuck Muncie, but they're still not able to block and get the running game going.
That's true. It gave the Eagles everything they could handle yesterday. Should be a great one.
Whitley fires over the middle and is held by Joe Rose, the rookie from California. Short of the...
But people don't recognize him for that because they say, well, he's not big enough, he's not strong enough, he's not quick enough. All Brian Sipe can do is play. And that should be how he's judged, not on his physical stature.
2nd Second and short. Woodley underthrows downfield. Dorial Harris was there at midfield, incomplete. It'll be third and short.
You know, I hear people talk about potential. This guy is, 6'5", weighs 260 pounds, can run a 4.40. But you really got, the thing is, can he play? And Brian Sipe can play.
Special teams move on to the field, and incidentally, for those of you on the West Coast, be sure and stay tuned. That's Incredible is coming your way.
That's what, Frank?
That's Incredible is coming your way.
Thank you.
That's Incredible is coming your way on the West Coast.
And it really is incredible.
I feel like I'm programmed. 5:11 remaining, third and short. Del Williams, rather Robisky for the first down.
Well, you just get the feeling sitting up here that Miami can't break it open. I don't know what it is. But I just feel like that they cannot break it open.
Stands a half empty now. Jet fans haven't had this kind of occasion in a long time.
On first down, 10. 4:37 remaining in the game. Both teams have their full complement of timeouts. Cephalo, yes. They indicate that Cephalo has the ball. 45-yard line, first down. Or rather, Dorial Harris. Dorial Harris with the first down.
This will be 5 in a row for Michaels and the Jets as you look at Duriel again on this pattern. Jets have a hex on Shula.
Watch him keep his feet in bounds. You've seen it many times. It's done just as well as you can do it right here.
I'll tell you, I spoke of that earlier. He is one graceful athlete.
Oh, he really is. And that was a professional throw by Whitley. He stood up there. He delivered a strike 25 yards down the field. Good throw.
First and 10. 45-yard line of the Jets. David Whitley. Strong arms it out towards Matt Moore. He's being covered out there. Greg Buttle is there. Incomplete.
Buttle's playing in pain tonight. He was questionable. Pulled a hamstring in practice on, what was it? Friday. Yes. But he's a Penn Stater, trained by Paterno. In a way, a kind of son to Walt Michaels, the coach. Tough.
Woodley's got to use his great speedy outside receivers, Duriel Harris and Matt Moore, now to pressure the defense. And he's got to move them down the field and throw 25 to 30-yard passes.
Second down, 10. Woodley, screen. Giaquinto, he gets another first down inside the 30. Clock continues to move.
They're almost down to 4 minutes to go, Giffer. They have had their last hurrah.
Will be up in New England, Foxborough.
First and 10 at the Jets 29.
So neither team has a picnic.
Nope.
But don't you love the way Jim Plunkett is playing in Oakland? What a story. It's fantastic.
Woodley fires and underthrows Jimmy Cephalo.
That was an interesting throw, Giff. They've criticized David and said that, the problem he has is he throws the ball too late to the receiver. Obviously, that's gotten through to him because that time he threw about 2 counts before the receiver broke, and he threw it short.
Clock stop, 3:39. Those are the numbers for tonight. Joe Klecko, who had limped off a few moments ago, comes back into the lineup. At defensive right end, he, of course, is the best of the Jets pass rushers, has been for the last 3 years, leading them in sacks over that period of time. Second down, 10. Over the middle, Tony Nathan.
Whoa.
Tony Nathan breaks a tackle and gets inside the 15, close to the 13, as Miami trying to get rid of the goose egg on the scoreboard. Bobby Jackson defensively brings Nathan to the turf at the 13.
Howard, he's pretty quick.
Does a lot of good things. Set a Miami record for all-purpose yardage, quick returning, pass receiving, rushing. Set that as a rookie. Woodley. And almost picked off by Donald Dykes. Intended there for Duriel Harris.
Nothing wrong with the throw. Donald Dykes just made one super play. Here we go from the ground level now. You're seeing Woodley, and what he's looking at is he got a little pressure from Lyons, and he throws a very fine ball out here. But Dykes makes a very fine defensive play.
Must say, Marty Lyons, #1 draft choice out of Alabama as you look at Donald Dykes. who was himself a third-round draft choice in the same year. Monty Lyons has played a steadily efficient game tonight.
Yes, he has.
He is improving.
Second down 10. Ball at the 13-yard line of the Jets. Woodley, they're breathing down his back, and Nick Giaquinto was the intended receiver, incomplete. Joe Klecko was pursuing Woodley, driving him out of the pocket. Third down 10. Tony Nathan bringing the play in from the bench.
2 minutes, 50 seconds left, Frank.
Dolphins have 3 timeouts. They would like to save them, but with the slim possibility they could get on the scoreboard and use them in another scoring situation. Tony Nathan. And Tony Nathan will be short of the first down. Ron Crosby there defensively at right linebacker for the Jets made the stop. It'll be fourth down at about a yard.
I think they may go for it, Giff.
If they don't, you'll have a story, I'll tell you.
Won't we ever?
Trubisky.
Well, they got enough people coming in and out of the game.
They've got a team for every occasion.
They do, don't they?
Bill Williams and Trubisky come back into the lineup. The Jets move into their short yardage defense. Fourth down 1.
Yes.
Woodley, fine athlete, hurdles over, gets the first down. And we get the 2-minute warning. And Miami will be attempting to avoid the shutout. 2 minutes remaining in the game. It's the Jets 17 over the Dolphins. Ago, Bob Greasy came up and gave David Woodley a little pat on the shoulder, sent him back into the huddle.
You know, Bob,
Greasy, of course, in his 14th year, 35 years old. Well, Fran, you made it to 40, didn't you?
just about. But you know, Greasy 2 weeks ago quarterbacked his 101st victory in the National Football League. There have only been 3 or 4 quarterbacks that have quarterbacked over 100 victories in this league. That says something for
He
him.
has been a great one. And a marvelous relationship with Shula through the years.
First and goal. Matt Moore in motion. Woodley will run or pass. Might have been well advised to pass as he is hammered.
Well, David
the 5-yard line.
Woodley learned something there. He had the corner, and he had people in the end zone to throw to. Instead of continuing on and pressuring the corner, he hesitated. And when he hesitated, the defense came up to him, and he didn't have a play. That's something that'll come with experience, and he'll learn about those things.
Don Shula.
And Don Shula hasn't had the experience bringing on a rookie quarterback for a long, long time.
His Dolphins will drop back into a tie with Baltimore, 2 games behind Buffalo and New England. Second down goal. Woodley fires one, almost taking the hands off Matt Moore.
Yeah, that's...
He says, hey, I can catch most everything. That's a little hot.
That's hard to catch. Even with gloves on, it's hard to catch.
Doubly hard, I would think, with gloves.
I don't know how they catch it with gloves on. I really don't.
Look, he's shaking his hand. That hurt.
I tell you,
I've never seen a receiver do that. I mean, it hurt, but you don't come back and embarrass your quarterback by shaking your hand.
well, up in Minnesota, even though it's 20 below zero, Harry Peter Grant wouldn't let anybody wear those gloves, on or off the field.
Wonder how
the
Bud
heaters,
is.
would he? He wouldn't allow the heaters on the sideline?
No, none of that stuff.
Wonder how Bud is after losing to the Pack.
Hey, he's hunting again. He ain't worried.
Third down goal.
Uh-oh.
Bootleg was killed by Marty
Marty
Lyons.
Lyons, all
I
right.
told you,
He played.
this is an improving player. You got to be impressed. When you're a first-round draft choice from Alabama, the ability has to be there. Just a second-year man. He has a chance to be exceptional for a lot of years.
You talked about Buttle, Howard. Marty Lyons also had a little muscle pull in his stomach on Friday. He was questionable tonight.
Abdominal pull, yes. But we're tough, Frank. We get up for the big one.
That's right.
Have to play hard.
Travel all night, no sleep. You guys, you amaze me. I'm telling you. I'm impressed.
There'll be some Z's blown tonight.
I thought y'all were going to go out in the town with me tonight. I can't understand that.
Fourth and goal at the 11, 17th play of this drive.
He's got him.
Tony Nathan.
Good play, Nathan. Good play, Woodley.
Touchdown, and the
Good for you,
goose egg
David.
is off the scoreboard. And that was a well-thrown ball.
Yeah,
and he coolly stood there and fired it in.
The touchdown doesn't mean anything in this game, really, but to David Woodley, it does. He's worked hard to get something like this is good for him. Nathan makes a good move. Boy, he pays the price after he threw it. He throws a strike to Nathan. Touchdown, Dolphins.
You saw Stan Blinka trailing him by about 3 paces.
Hard for linebackers to cover those backs, especially one as quick as Nathan.
Ulvedan Shaman for the conversion. He's had a very quiet evening by Shaman. So the Dolphins have avoided the shutout. With 1 minute remaining in this game, they trail the Jets 17-7. Stick around for the onside kick. Remaining here at Chase Stadium. The Jets return to a ball control football game tonight. Their first touchdown, a 99-yard drive that took up a little more than 7 minutes.
Hey, Giff, I think an onside kick would be a good thing to do now.
No kidding.
Suspect that we might see an onside kick.
They're going to get it. They're going to get it.
They did not travel the required 10 yards, whether they get it or not.
But the Jet man went after the ball, so I think they're going to allow it. Yeah.
They did. He bobbled it.
Yes, the Jet player went after the ball.
All he had to do was...
Well, they got 58 seconds left to make up 10 points.
Here we go. It's going to be a little onside kick coming off to the left. It has to go 10 yards. It didn't go 10 yards, but watch the Jet player.
Mickey Shula
goes
tries
after
to
the
handle
ball, hits his foot, bounces off. Steve holds him back from the ball. He did the right thing.
You think we'll see a bomb?
Now, I'll tell you this. If Woodley can pull this game out with 58 seconds left, down 17-7, a legend would be started. Huh? A legend would be born.
Yeah, but you got to have a talk with Mickey Shula. Penn State, trained by Paterno. He knows better.
3 timeouts remain for the Dolphins. Woodley directing traffic. Gets the ball to Cephalo at midfield.
You know, this whole ballpark may be filled with Penn Staters. Cephalo to Penn State.
And
Don didn't go for the ball, but he's got to go for that ball. He cannot sit back and wait for it. He just didn't handle it.
That's why those supposedly sure-handed people are up there. They put wide receivers, tight ends on either side. They want them to handle the ball rather than the tackles and linebackers they usually have on the special teams.
Well, they're so unaccustomed to winning that they get a little excited.
First down is a midfield. Our thanks to our spotter Steve DeZika, statistician Jerry Klein. 43 seconds. Duriel Harris goes right. Cephalo, Nat Moore, and Joe Rose all split bottom of your screen. Uh-oh. Whoops. And that one Woodley had to deliver. He was being pressured by Joe Klecko. Big Joe gets off David Woodley.
All right, smart thing the Jets are doing. They're in a kind of a prevent defense, but they're still rushing 4 linemen. That enabled the pass rush to get to the quarterback. Many teams only have 3 rush linemen to put people back. That gives the quarterback much too much time. The Jets are doing a good job here.
Second down 10. Cephalo again going out to the left with the rookie Joe Rose, number 80, and Nat Moore.
They got
middle
it set up
screen. Giaquinto stays on his feet, trying just to kill the clock by getting out of bounds. He does not do so. Gets to the 40-yard line. Tackled there by Donald Dykes. Timeout called again by Miami with 25 seconds remaining in the game. That also gives Miami 1 timeout. And young David Woodley will again confer with Bob Greasy, Don Shula, and we'll be back in a moment. Miami, 1st and 10. The ball at the 40-yard line of the Jets. They're down 17-7. They have 1 timeout remaining. They have 25 seconds on the clock. And the Jets appear to be on their way to their 5th straight over the Dolphins. They lead the series, by the way, 15-14.
After this victory.
Got it. And he gets both feet down again in front of Donald Dykes, who had slipped. And Walt Michaels is saying no, he didn't, but the referee right on top of it, our official. And another first down at the 23-yard line. And, of course, the clock stopped when Harris got out of bounds at 19 seconds.
I'll tell you, Donald Dykes has given him plenty of room.
Any hope to win this game, they'd almost have to score on this play. Whatever rare hope that it might be. Duriel Harris goes out right. The three receivers split to the left. Duriel Harris will draw a double coverage, top of your screen. Woodley wants Harris. And Duriel Harris comes up inside the 1, stopping the clock with 14 seconds. That was another well-thrown ball by the Jets.
It was really a well-thrown ball. And the Jets got a little confused in their coverage here. Here's the end zone look. Here's Woodley going back. He's throwing to the right guy. He's got single coverage over there. Not bad coverage. He's in pretty good position. Well-thrown football close to a touchdown. But the ball didn't cross the goal line, and it has to do it. His foot did, but the ball has to get across.
Bobby Jackson playing Duriel Harris really close. He had help to the inside, and he went inside with Harris, and Harris broke it off with that good move to the outside. 14 seconds remaining. One timeout for the Dolphins. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Tony Nathan. The Dolphins draw within 3, 11 seconds remaining in the game. Miami has one timeout, and we'll see another onside kick.
Well, here it goes. The Dolphins are in again, and you wonder where they've been all night. They've scored twice here in the last few minutes. Nathan goes in.
Wait a minute. Maybe they'll get a help from the Jets on an onside kick.
Well, they got a hope.
Uwe von Schaman on the conversion. To the uprights. Again, the situation. One timeout remaining for Miami. You'll see the onside kick, most certainly.
All right, we got an onside kick. They recover the ball. They got one long throw for the end zone.
And hope for a defensive foul. The game cannot end on a defensive foul.
That's right.
I saw what Atlanta did yesterday.
Anything could happen. Atlanta was in an impossible situation. 4th and 38 on their own.
No,
19.
3rd and 48, and then it was 4th and 11, so all they did was get the touchdown.
In 2 plays.
J.T. Thomas watching Alfred Jackson catch the football. What is this, rain?
That is rain. Rain has started here at Shea Stadium in good old Flushing, New York.
This game can't end too soon for the Jets.
My goodness. They're making an easy victory into a very difficult one. If we're to assume they're going to still win, which I would assume they might.
Right-footed kicker von Schaman, the best way to kick the onside kick would be to his left, hooking it, sliding it on the ground. And, of course, over there is Derek Gaffney and
Mickey Schuler.
Schuler's ready now. He's put some stickum on his hands. He's ready to go. 11 seconds remaining.
He's going to keep doing it till he gets it right.
Well, what?
Not a bad move. You kick it downfield where no one is. It's taken there, however, by Schroy. One of those sure-handed players. 8 seconds on the clock.
That was interesting.
Well, he tried the soccer kick, you know. Over the front line. Move our people down, pick it up, and we're in field goal range if we get it. Well, that was the theory.
And the theory's not all wrong. It's an interesting theory.
It's great if it works.
Jets, of course, thinking right with the Dolphins. On either side of the field, they had defensive backs who were used to handling the ball. Troy came up with it at the 29-yard line. 8 seconds remaining.
Well, don't go away. A few years ago, the Giants got in this situation, handed the ball off, fumbled.
You're talking about Herman Edwards.
And Herman Edwards picked it up for the Eagles and went for the touchdown. That's right.
There will be no handoff.
I would think not.
Miami, of course, quickly uses their one timeout. What remains of the crowd, I'm sure a lot of them are driving home wondering, why did we leave? Fran, you have a word for me?
No, I really don't. I do. I've been waiting to do this the entire night. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. And I mean it.
I think Meredith does it better.
Eat your heart out, Dandy. You thought you were the only one who could do that.
That'll do it. And the Jets have won their second ball game of the season. The Miami Dolphins fall into a second-place tie with Baltimore. Eastern Division of the AFC. Buffalo leads it, tied with New England with 6-2 records. Again, the final score. The Jets 17, the Dolphins 14. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as a leader in sports television. We'll be in Cleveland next Monday night for the Bears and the Browns. We'll be carrying it. Taylor